Why hello there internet, I'm CST from the Guild of Awesome and today I'm reviewing Halo Infinite's single player campaign. Keep in mind that this review is for the PC version, so you may have a slightly different experience on the Xbox. Also, I'm only reviewing the campaign, and I'm going to treat the multiplayer as its own separate game, since technically it is its own separate entity. You can play the multiplayer for free regardless if you buy the single player game, although the multiplayer does have some god-awful monetization right now. You can check out my last video, Halo's Gone Freemium, to find out why monetization is ruining Halo Infinite's multiplayer. But Halo Infinite's single player is fantastic. The gameplay is just so damn good. If you have played any of the previous Halo games, then you can just start the game and go. The guns and movement feel the same as the previous games, and yet it feels smoother and more satisfying. Half of Halo Infinite's weaponry are from the previous games, and the other half are completely brand new weapons. And out of all of them, there's really only one weapon that I don't like, and that is the Ravager, but the rest are all incredibly fun to use. The biggest change to the gameplay is the grappling hook, and oh my god, at first I thought this was just a gimmick, but nope, it's so goddamn fun. Using it to get around the environment, climb mountains, swing around like Spider-Man, grapple onto enemies for an overpowered slam, pick up weapons from a distance, pick up explosive canisters that you can then throw at enemies to blow them up. The grappling hook adds so much fun and verticality to the gameplay that I can't overhype how fun it is. There are other equipment that we can use, but they replace the grappling hook, but I only use them once or twice before swapping back to the grappling hook. The enemies are very fun to fight, with aggressive and smart AI which can easily overpower you if you're being reckless. There are loads of different enemy types and classes, keeping them fresh to fight throughout the entire playthrough. Halo Infinite is the first open world Halo game, which I was concerned about at first, but the map size is perfect. Big enough to give you a decent sandbox to play in, but not too big to make travelling around a chore. There is a lot of side content. You can capture forward operating bases that act as fast travel points. You can also spawn any weapons or vehicles that you have unlocked at these bases as well. There are captured marines that you need to free, a load of collectibles for you to find, like audio logs to fill out a little bit of the backstory, multiplayer cosmetics, and skulls that will make the gameplay harder. There are also high value targets, which are mini-bosses. Killing these targets unlocks more powerful weapons. There are enemy forts for you to destroy, which are just fun to take down. Doing the side content will get you Valor points, which may as well be called experience. Every milestone you reach unlocks new weapons, vehicles, and marines at the bases you have cleared out. You can also upgrade your suit's equipment, increasing your shields, as well as upgrading your deployable equipment, including your grapple hook to make it even more fun. There definitely should have been more side content for you to do. Off the top of my head, I think they should have included races and obstacle courses. Also, I would have actually had side stories, as all the current side content only exists for gameplay purposes, with no or very little story attached. I beat the game on normal and it was balanced well. It was challenging at times, I did die more than a few times, but it never felt unfair. The story is not great. There is a time skip of 6 months at the very start of the game, and it introduces a major plot hole on how two of the main characters survive for that long with no food, water, or toilets. The villains are terrible. Really, really bland and forgettable. They give off the cartoon villain vibe, and they're just so boring. It's made worse by the fact that they never shut up, and they constantly leave recordings of themselves for you to find, and they just repeat the same sort of dialogue every single time. We're going to kill you, Chief. You're going to lose, Chief. Imagine listening to that throughout the entire game. Even their collectible audio logs are the exact same. The story is not new player friendly. If this is your first Halo game, you will be lost completely and have no idea what's going on. There is no explanation of what has happened in the previous games, which I think they should have included before the start of the game. Huge events happen off screen and are shown to you via holograms, which is lame and takes away from the impact of these huge events. What does salvage the story though are our main characters, Master Chief, the AI called Weapon, and our pilot Echo. These characters are done so well. Master Chief has far more lines in Infinite than he's had in all the other games combined, and it fleshes him out more as a character. Weapon is friendly, optimistic, and a little naive, but I do like her character. Echo is an interesting character. He's a brave coward. All he wants to do is leave and go home, but he can't bring himself to leave Master Chief on his own. I have heard other people say that the dialogue can be cringy at times, but I disagree. Specifically when people say that dialogue sounds Marvel-y. The problem with the Marvel films' dialogue is that they make jokes during times when they should be serious, or make jokes that are out of character. In Infinite's case, the characters don't say stuff that's out of their character, so that's acceptable to me. Overall, the story is so unsatisfying. It is very much a setup for whatever DLC or future games they are planning. The music, however, is really damn good, featuring a whole new soundtrack, but it reuses parts of the most iconic songs from the franchise, and they do it at perfect times to get you really going. Performance-wise, the game wasn't perfect. I played the game at 1080p 60fps, and inside buildings during main missions, the game runs smooth as butter. But once I got out into the open world, I did start to have frame rate issues. Once I updated my graphics card driver, it did help a lot. The frame drops became barely noticeable. I beat the game in 13 hours, and that's with doing all the side content and collecting all the collectibles. I expect if you blast through the main story, you could be done far quicker, maybe completing the game in 8 hours or so. One big issue is that you cannot replay story missions once they are completed, and there are collectibles in missions that will be locked out once you complete that mission. So if you complete it without finding them, you are locked out from picking them up ever again. The developers have said they're going to implement a replay feature in the future, but it should have been available at launch. My entire playthrough was pretty much bug-free. There was this one time the AI didn't know what to do when I was sniping them. And there is a problem with the marine AI. They are not programmed to deal with vehicles, and especially vehicle drops, so you get this hilarity. And by the way, this happens every time I got a vehicle.
Hang tight. Sir? You're a braver man than I am. On the way with your wasp. You're killing us!
There is also no co-op right now. It is planned to come in the future. I just can't imagine how co-op will be if the players are free to move around without being leashed to each other.
Okay then. There's something else. On successful deployment, my deletion routine was supposed to complete. Still here.
Good.
Good. My programming failed. I'm not supposed to be here. You need to delete me.
No.
No. I was created for one purpose, and that purpose is no longer needed. My mission... He's fun. I like him.